Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're going to be taking a deep dive into the world of AI, and specifically the concept of long context.
Yeah, this is a really fascinating area.
And we'll be basing our exploration on Stephen Johnson's essay, You Exist in the Long Context, which really delves into the evolution of language models and how they've changed over time.
Right, and Johnson really highlights this crucial development that often gets overlooked when people talk about AI,
Hmm,
all the advancements and all the progress that's been made.
exactly. So to kick things off, Johnson actually starts his essay by kind of inviting his readers to play a game.
That's right. It's a game powered by one of these large language models.
And this game is based on his own book, The Infernal Machine. It's a really interesting way to kind of showcase what AI can do when it has this expanded context window.
And this idea of a context window is really central to understanding all the recent advancements in AI.
So can you break down for us what a context window actually is?
Yeah. Sure. So basically, the context window refers to the amount of information that a language model can hold in its short-term memory. You can think of it like a mental workspace where the AI can process and connect different pieces of information.
So it's like how much the AI can actually remember and work with at any given moment.
Exactly. And while there have been advancements in what we call parametric memory, which is more like AI's long-term memory, the real breakthrough has been this dramatic expansion of the context window.
That makes sense. So as the context window gets bigger, the AI can hold more information in its mind and make more complex connections.
Yeah, and that's really where we're seeing this kind of leap forward in AI capabilities.
So to illustrate the significance of this shift, Johnson actually draws a really interesting parallel between earlier language models and the famous case of patient HM.
Patient HM, or Henry Molaison as he was actually known, lost the ability to form new long-term memories after he had surgery for epilepsy.
Oh, wow. So he was basically living in the moment constantly.
In a way, yes. He could remember things from before the surgery, and he had a short-term memory, but he couldn't create new lasting memories.
That must have been incredibly difficult for him.
It was, and what's interesting is that early language models like GPT-3 were similar to HM in their limited ability to retain information.
So they had all this knowledge stored in their long-term memory, but their short-term memory, their context window was very narrow.
Exactly. They would quickly forget information, which really limited their ability to have meaningful conversations or perform complex tasks.
It's like they had all the ingredients for a great meal, but they could only use one or two at a time.
That's a great analogy.
So then along comes ChatGPT and other models with this expanded context window, and it's like the game changes completely.
It really does. With a larger context window, these models can hold much longer conversations. They can retain information over extended exchanges, and it makes them appear significantly more intelligent and capable.
And one of the most noticeable benefits of this expanded context window is a reduction in what we call hallucination.
Right. So hallucination is basically where an AI model makes stuff up because it doesn't have the necessary context or understanding.
So it's like the AI is filling in the gaps with its own imagination.
Yeah, exactly. And with a larger context window, these AI models have access to way more information, so they're less likely to invent facts or draw inaccurate conclusions.
So their responses are more grounded in reality and more reliable.
Precisely. And this is really important when we're talking about using AI for things like research or decision making.
Absolutely. We need to be able to trust the information that the AI is providing.
And Johnson actually put this to the test himself in a really interesting way.
How so?
He uploaded his unpublished book, The Infernal Machine, into a long context model, and he was absolutely blown away by the results.
What happened?
Well, the model was able to grasp really complex narrative elements like foreshadowing, and it could accurately pinpoint plot points from the entire book.
Wow. So it's like the AI had actually read and understood the whole book, not just isolated bits and pieces.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's really the power of long context. It allows AI to see the big picture, to connect the dots across vast amounts of information.
It's like giving the AI the ability to think more holistically. And that has huge implications for things like personalization and tailoring AI experiences.
Absolutely. Imagine being able to upload your own documents, your notes, your areas of expertise into a language model's context window.
So it's like creating a personalized AI assistant that understands your unique needs and your knowledge base.
Precisely. And Johnson actually explores this concept with his work on something called Notebook LM.
What is Notebook LM?
So Notebook LM is an AI writing tool that lets users define their own set of trusted sources, and then the AI operates within those boundaries.
So it's like having an AI that has access to all of your notes, your books, your articles, your conversations, everything that's relevant to your work or your interests.
Right, and that personalized knowledge base can do some amazing things. It can provide insightful summaries, answer your specific questions, even help you simulate different scenarios.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
It's like having your own personal AI research assistant.
Yeah, and Johnson refers to this personalized collection of information as his everything notebook. And he talks about how valuable it is for making connections between different ideas and exploring new avenues of thought.
So it's not just about finding information, it's about using AI to help us think more creatively and make new discoveries.
Exactly. And that's really where the potential of long context starts to become really exciting. And this idea of a personalized knowledge base, it doesn't have to stop at the individual level, you know?
Where else could this go?
Imagine a whole company having this kind of second brain, an AI system that holds all of its information and uses it to simulate what could happen in different situations.
That's a really interesting concept. So instead of just individuals having their own everything notebooks, you're talking about organizations having a collective everything notebook.
Exactly. And this could revolutionize how organizations make decisions, how they operate, how they innovate.
It would be like having a team of the best minds in the company, constantly working behind the scenes, analyzing data, identifying patterns, and suggesting solutions.
Right. And Johnson really believes that in this long context world, the real key to success with AI isn't just about having the most powerful models. It's about having the best information to feed into those models.
So it's not just about the size of the brain, it's about the quality of the information it has to work with.
Exactly. And that's why organizations that invest in carefully curating their information and making it accessible to AI are going to have a big advantage.
It's like building a solid foundation for the AI to build upon.
Right. And this is where the role of people like archivists and knowledge managers becomes even more crucial.
Because they're the ones who know how to organize, classify, and preserve information in a way that makes it useful for AI.
Exactly. And they can ensure that the information that's being fed to these AI systems is accurate, reliable, and representative of a diverse range of perspectives.
So it's not just about having a lot of information, it's about having the right information.
And Johnson makes a really interesting point about this. He says that organizations might actually perform better if they include more diverse sources in their knowledge bases.
So it's not just about having a single point of view. It's about embracing a wider range of perspectives and ensuring that the AI has access to a variety of viewpoints and experiences.
Right, and that brings us back to that central question from Johnson's essay. In a long context world, what matters most is what you put into it.
It's a powerful reminder that AI is only as good as the information it's given.
And that the choices we make today about what information we feed to AI will have a huge impact on how this technology evolves and the role it plays in our lives.
So we have a responsibility to be thoughtful and intentional about what we're putting into these systems.
Absolutely. And Johnson also brings up another fascinating possibility in his essay, this idea that AI could become a new distribution medium for expertise.
So instead of having to read all of an expert's books and articles, we could have an AI that's done that for us and can answer our questions based on that expert's knowledge.
Right. It's like having direct access to the wisdom and insights of someone you admire without the constraints of time or physical limitations.
It would be amazing to be able to ask an AI, what would so-and-so think about this problem, and get a response that's grounded in that expert's entire body of work.
And this could revolutionize fields like education consulting, even personal development. Imagine having access to an AI that's ingested all the knowledge of the top experts in any given field.
It would be like having a personal mentor on demand.
Exactly. And it could democratize access to knowledge-making expertise more readily available to people who might not otherwise have the opportunity to learn from these leading figures.
Of course, there are some challenges that would need to be addressed, like how to ensure that the AI accurately represents the expert's views and how to protect intellectual property rights.
Those are important considerations, but the potential benefits are significant.
And this idea of AI as a new medium for expertise also ties into Johnson's thoughts on collective intelligence.
All right, so imagine an AI system that can tap into the vast collective knowledge and experience of a whole city or even a global community.
It would be like having a giant brain that can access the wisdom and insights of millions of people.
And that could be incredibly powerful for addressing complex societal challenges like climate change Poverty, inequality, issues that require a collective effort to solve.
It's like using AI to amplify our collective intelligence and help us find solutions that we might not be able to see on our own.
Exactly. And Johnson sees AI as a potential catalyst for positive change in the world.
It's a really inspiring vision of how AI can be used to make a difference.
And it's a reminder that AI is not just about technology, it's about people and how we use this technology to create a better future.
This whole exploration of long context in AI, it really brings up a question that we haven't touched on directly yet, something that wasn't explicitly addressed in Johnson's essay.
And what's that?
Well, in a world where AI can access so much information and process it so quickly, could we see a shift in how we think about expertise itself?
That's an interesting thought. Right now we tend to think of expertise as something that takes years to develop. It's about experience, it's about accumulated knowledge, it's about a proven track record.
Exactly. But what happens when an AI system can seemingly reach that same level of knowledge in a fraction of the time?
Right. It raises the question of whether we'll still value human experience and intuition in the same way.
Or will we start to prioritize the efficiency and comprehensiveness of AI-powered expertise?
That's a big question, and it has implications for things like education mentorship, the way knowledge is passed down from one generation to the next.
It makes you wonder if we'll need to redefine what it means to be an expert in a world where AI can access and process information that would take humans years to master.
It's a fascinating challenge, and it's something that we need to be thinking about as we continue to develop and integrate AI into our lives.
It's not to say that human expertise will become obsolete.
Yeah.
We'll always need critical thinking, creativity, the ability to apply knowledge in nuanced and context-specific ways.
Absolutely, but the nature of expertise and how it's acquired and valued may change significantly.
And as we navigate this new landscape of AI, we need to be prepared to adapt our understanding of expertise accordingly.
It's an exciting time to be alive, witnessing this convergence of human intelligence and artificial intelligence.
And the choices that we make today will shape the future of both.
We have a responsibility to ensure that this partnership between humans and AI leads to a better world, a more informed world, a more innovative world, a more equitable world for everyone.
Well said. That brings us to the end of our deep dive into Stephen Johnson's You Exist in the Long Context.
We've covered a lot of ground today. We talked about the concept of the context window, the analogy of patient HM, the benefits of long context for things like personalization and collective intelligence.
And we also delved into some of the implications of long context for the future of expertise.
Johnson's essay really raises some profound questions about the evolving relationship between humans and AI, and it challenges us to think critically about how we want to shape that relationship.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a reminder that AI is not just a tool. It's a reflection of ourselves, our knowledge, our values, our aspirations.
And as we move forward, it's crucial that we have open and honest discussions about the ethical implications of AI and that we ensure that its development is aligned with our values as a society.
And to bring it back to that key takeaway from Johnson's essay, in this long context world, what matters most is what you put into it.
So let's be mindful of the information we're feeding into these AI systems, and let's work together to create a future where AI is a force for good in the world.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the impact of long context in the world of AI.
We hope this has given you some food for thought and sparked your curiosity about the future of this incredible technology.